This week we have a very interesting parsha, Parshas Noach. Noach, as we know, story of the flood, story of the ark, story of saving, story of tzaddikim. It's an exciting parsha, one that I hope this week, Shabbos afternoon, you'll take out your chumash, really learn through, and not just rely on the knowledge of the facts of the story that we have, but look for some of the deeper ideas. That's exactly what I'd like to do this week. I'm going to apologize because I generally don't like to read my notes, but I'd like to quote three different psukim, three different verses from this week's parsha. I want you to pay attention. I'll try to enunciate the words a little differently, but maybe I'll just raise my hand. When I raise my hand, notice the words that I'm using and pay attention to them. The English translation of these verses are as follows. It's from the beginning of the parsha, and it states, "The earth was corrupt before God. The earth was filled with violent crime. God saw the earth and beheld that it was corrupt. For all the flesh that had corrupted its ways on the earth, God said to Noach, the end of all flesh has come before me. The earth is filled with violent crime because of them, and so I will destroy them with the earth." Now, that's Hashem promising that because the world is so corrupt, Hashem is going to destroy the world, and as we know, He does so with the flood, saving Noach and his family and various animals. The world goes on. The interesting thing is, if you look in the Chumash and you look in the Parsha itself, the word that's used for all the times that I raised my hand, for corrupt and destroyed, is really all the same word. And that word is from the Shoresh Shachat. The Shchot is really generally used to destroy. So in reality, instead of the Pasuk describing, or the Parsha describing the situation and the people as corrupt, it was really saying that the people were destroyed. And hence, as a punishment for being destroyed, Hashem is going to destroy them. Very repetitive and very odd language. How do we understand it? Let's take a look at the word viable. What does the word viable mean? We generally assume viable means breathing, living. To some it might mean a state of consciousness. But in reality, the Torah views man not as his mere existence, but as his potential as a giant. Whether that giant potential be through intellectual perfection or through his character, man has that potential of being a giant. That's what viability means in the Torah, is man actively pursuing and actively growing, actively expanding. That's the idea of viability. And we can see from our parsha that the people in Noach's time were so corrupt, they were already considered destroyed. It could be in a physical form. They were alive and walking around, breathing, and conscious individuals. But in reality, their viability had ended. The Torah already considers them destroyed. In the English translation, to avoid the repetitiveness, we transfer the word destroyed and we start using corrupt. So that because of their corruptness, they would be destroyed. But the Torah really, if we look at just the pshat level of what the word means, the literal translation, the word shachat means destroyed. The people, Hashem had already considered them destroyed. And therefore, the automatic result was that they would be destroyed. What we see here is an incredible lesson. Man can be at the same time living, yet considered destroyed. He could be living, yet considered already dead. When we stray off the proper path, when we no longer look and no longer strive to expand, to develop, and to become those giants that the Torah tells us we can be, we're considered already destroyed and dead. It's an incredible lesson, one that we hope will take to heart and continue with us for the rest of the year. Have a viable Shabbos.